So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
Well, I was born in Georgia, so I'm a Southern transplant. We moved to West Virginia in 1973, so I've been here since then. We've raised our kids here. We moved onto 14th Street in 1985. We bought our house for $25,000, and we're not going anywhere, so we've been here for quite a while. I have my bachelor's in elementary ed and my master's in special education.
Alrighty. So could you tell me a little bit about your employment history?
It took me 26 years to get my bachelor's degree in education. I was working and then having a child and working and having a kid and, trying to balance being a mom and a wife and raising children and going to school. So I finally got my degree, and then I got my master's, and I taught a lot. I mostly subbed, and I worked at Options, which is a school for kids with substance abuse problems. Then I was the executive director at EVE Incorporated, and I was the executive director at the Volunteer Action Center. And then I worked with West Virginia Birth to 3, which is an early intervention program for kids from birth to 3 that have some kind of developmental delay.
Alrighty. And could you tell me a little bit about your political history?
I guess I was very aware of, growing in the South, you're very aware of race and poverty and kind of the long-term impact of that. So I was always interested in how to balance out the needs of a broad society so that the bottom is not left behind. And I've been a Democrat all my life. Mostly I look for solutions that meet people's needs. The politics are not that important to me as long as they're just and fair and equal and treat people equally and respectfully. I think those are my basics. More of a Christian point of view than a political one.
Alrighty. And what are your qualifications for this office?
I have a real broad history in working with nonprofits. I've worked with people of all ages. I think the biggest thing I know how to do is network and bring people together to solve problems. We were able to start having housing expos about 3 years ago, so this was our third one this past year. And we looked at the housing problem, what are the pieces of it? And so by bringing together a network of 40 or 50 providers, whether it was government or nonprofits or churches or businesses, banks, we met the housing needs of over 500 people. And so I'm not going on promises, I'm going on my record of I have experience in getting these kind of things done.
Alrighty. So what are the most important issues for District 4?
I would say we have a huge number of fires. Well, each part of the district has sort of a different need, but probably Precinct 13 has a lot of fires and speeding. Precinct 71 on South Side has a lot more problems with flooding. And I would say that Precinct 10 has a lot more problems with wanting to keep up their property values. And so that means, having less crime, more home repair, more just keeping the streets looking good and the houses in good repair. So each district each precinct sort of has its own distinct flavor.
Alrighty. And what are the most important issues for Parkersburg as a whole?
I would say jobs and development. We're losing population. We've had a steady decline of population. I think if we could bring in good paying jobs, that would bring us back to an economic base where these other things could be taken care of. Like, people can't repair their homes if they don't have a good job. They can't get good medical care if they don't have good benefits. So there's a lot of things that I think hinge on jobs, which means having a flourishing, vital, lively, friendly community.
Alrighty. And what is your number one goal?
My number one goal, I think, would be to have enough housing for people. That would be my number one, is that they have a safe place to live and to call home.
Alrighty. And if elected, what 3 things will you do to help voters in your district?
The first thing is I want them to feel heard and respected, that they have something to contribute that's valuable. So I would continue having town meetings and have this connection between what people want and then meeting that with what the city's resources are. So I would continue to be a link between the citizens and the city government. I would also want to work on sidewalks and infrastructure, making our streets safer, and I would certainly want to work on public safety and reducing the number of fires and increased police and fire protection.
Awesome. And why should people vote for you over your opponent?
My biggest one is I have experience. I mean, it takes a while to kind of learn the ropes. I have worked really hard with City Council to do things like the new Southwood Park pool. I ask a lot of questions. I'm a really thoughtful person. I look into what we need and how's the best way to get that. I like to make sure that our tax dollars are spent well. I'm a very caring person, and I look for solutions.
Awesome. And what can or should be done to help people in Parkersburg or even West Virginia as a whole?
I think two things. One is that we don't believe in ourselves enough. We don't recognize that we have incredible gifts and talents inside of us, and we often don't know how or where to either put them to use or find the resources to get things done. So I think it's, I don't want to say matchmaking, but I think it's a lot of matchmaking of here's a need, here's a resource, and how can we put those together for the good of all of us. I think that would be my answer to that.